1969 was the year Neil Armstrong became the first person to walk on the moon, when Jimi Hendrix performed to a mud-soaked crowd at an overflowing Woodstock, when the needle-like supersonic Concorde took its maiden flight. It was also the year Jack Heuer started to look for investors for the TAG Heuer brand, then known as just Heuer. Something truly special was needed, something that would make the headlines in such an eventful year. That something was the Monaco. The story of the Monaco starts with the Valjoux 72. This trusty hand-wound movement had been the backbone of the Chronograph watch since 1949, used by Heuer, Rolex, Breitling, Longines Eterna and many more besides, and by the late 1960s was getting a little long in the tooth. A collusion between Heuer, Breitling, Hamilton and a few others resulted in a plan: the development of the world's first automatic chronograph movement. Project 99 was underway. Project 99 was approached in two stages. The first to build an automatic movement with an embedded micro-rotor, and the second to develop a chronograph unit to sit atop it. This arrangement is known as a modular movement. Competitor Zenith, however, had just bought out movement manufacturer Mattel and was working on something very similar. This first came to Jack Heuer's attention early in 1969, in the local newspaper no less. He was stunned to read about the upcoming release of Zenith's new integrated, rather than modular, like Heuer's movement, automatic chronograph, the El Primero, the first. Zenith's intentions were clear. The race was on. It was obvious to Jack at this point that the movement on its own was not going to be enough. The new caliber was due to launch inside modified Carrera and Altavia cases. But Jack knew he needed something more, something never previously seen. He turned to friend and case manufacturer Irvin Piquerez, creator of the famed super compressor case, to make him something unique. A little aside, at this point in time, watchmakers made very little of their own watches. Cases, dials, movements, virtually everything was supplied by third-party manufacturers. In this day and age of the self-sufficient watchmaker, what we see is the result of brands simply buying all those third-party suppliers. Even Rolex sourced its movements from outside its own halls, from a manufacturer called Eigler, which Rolex only finally bought outright in 2004. Rolex managed to maintain the appearance of being larger than it was by dressing up the Eigler facility with Rolex branding in early marketing artwork. But back to the Heuer, and Piquerez had just the thing. It was the world's first water-resistant square case, which used a notch system to create a seal with tension. And it was big, very big, with a surface area some 50% greater than the equivalent Rolex Daytona. It was the impact Jack needed, and he negotiated an exclusive deal for it. Come the Basel World Watch Fair 2 months later, when Jack announced the Monaco, and he was relieved to see only one working El Primero example on the Zenith stand, where Heuer had multiples of its own. His achievement was congratulated by Seiko president Ikiro Hattori, who, unbeknownst to Jack, was quietly releasing his own automatic chronograph, the 6139, exclusively in Japan. Whether Hattori beat the Swiss to it, no one knows. There were 2 Monaco models on display at Basel World 1969, the 1133B and the 1133G. The B was the blue dial, the G for grey, like these re-editions. The 33 in the model number can also be seen on the caseback of the original, and is a reference to Tool 33, the unique device needed to remove the movement from the watch. The 11 in the model number was the title given to the new movement beating inside, the Caliber 11. The rest, as they say, is history. Sometimes it's a good idea to take a step back and realign our expectations. Today, there's so much noise and fuss about in-house this and manufacturer that it can be easy to forget just how some of the world's most iconic watches came into existence. Without shared movements and off-the-shelf parts, the Monaco, and many other watches like it, would have never existed at all. Discover more exceptional watches at watchfinder.co.uk. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If there are any other watches you'd like to see reviewed, please let us know in the comments below.